This meeting is being
Greetings,
recorded.
friends. Jacque Howard here, and welcome to Bridge the Vote. This segment is going to be speaking with a hyper focus on the city of Trenton and the upcoming elections taking place. In just a bit, I'm going to be bringing on Atalaya Armstrong, who is running for the West Ward City Council seat. In addition to that, I'm also going to bring on Angeline Dean, who is the campaign manager, and we'll be chatting a bit more about that. But before we do that, folks, I want to make sure that you know that Jacque Howard, Jacque's Reach, WIMG 1300, Bridge the Vote is nonpartisan. We don't support any candidates for office. We don't camp. We don't provide any cash or anything like that, funds to them. But what we do is we provide an opportunity and a forum for all candidates to come on and talk about their different platforms and to share about who they are, because we believe wholeheartedly that the idea of civic engagement is based around people coming together to build a better community. So with that being said, if you are a candidate, if you are part of a candidate's team, these opportunities for you to come on to Bridge the Vote as well as WIMG are available. All you have to do is reach out. You can do so by finding me, Trenton 365 on social media, or by sending an email to jacquesreach@gmail.com, and then we'll work out all the logistics and get you on the show like we do have today with Atalaya Armstrong, again, who is running for West Ward City Council. Now, to do that, I'm going to be bringing on Angeline Dean in just a moment. Angeline, and actually I got them all on the screen with me right now. So I'm going to say a little bit about Angeline. And I've known her for many years. She's someone who's been very active in this region in New Jersey, not only advocating for folks who are disadvantaged, but people of color in general. And so our relationship has grown with a hyper focus on that, and in the city of Trenton, and with some nonprofit organizations that are supporting the idea of civic engagement. With that being said, I'm passionate about anyone who takes on that responsibility, does it as a job. And Angeline has been doing this for a number of years. And when she mentioned to me that she was going to be working with Atalaya Armstrong and on her campaign, I said, absolutely, let's get a chance for us to sit down. So with that being said, Angeline, I'd like for you to come on, and I'd like for you to introduce Atalaya, and then I'm going to fade into the back.
All right. So thank you, Jacque. It is a pleasure to be in this space with you once again. And it is also my honor to be able to introduce to the city of Trenton, for those who do not know Atalaya Armstrong, not just any woman, but a woman who is not status quo, a woman who is the most qualified West Ward candidate, a woman who, like you said, Jacque, I respect anybody who's about the civics, who's about the advocacy, and who's about the people. And not somebody that's just jumped into this work, but has a history of doing this work. And so I appreciate her. I appreciate having conversations and the things that I would hear that would prick my ear as an activist, as a lifelong civic engaged person. And so, you know, Jacque, I don't do status quo. If it's not excellence, it's not at all. And so having sat down and had conversations and hearing her heart, hearing her passion, hearing the change that she wishes to make, I'm not about the R.E.A.C.H, right? Because we've been doing things again and again and again, not only in the city of Trenton, and things that are not working. I am about backing a candidate that is about a fresh voice, a fresh thought process out here on the streets, entrenched with the people, right? Not certain people, but with all people and with the people. So it gives me a pleasure, it gives me an honor to be able to introduce to some and present to others, none other than Atalaya Armstrong, your next West Ward City Council woman.
Well, I tell you what, that was a great introduction, and yes. I can imagine what that's going to be like in person. Atalaya, welcome to this time together. I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with you on the previous attempt to win an office, and to hear a bit of what your process was. I'd like for you to just share a little bit about who you are, maybe your background, etc., for the folks who have no idea who you are. And then from there, we can start talking a bit about some of your platform and some of those things that you're so passionate about that Angeline got fired up about as well. So please take it off.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacque. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm happy to be here tonight. Yes, that was an awesome introduction. So as you see, I have the right people, the right person on my team. So I'm very, very happy about that. So I'm Atalaya. I'm many things. I wear many hats. For starters, I'm a lifelong Trentonian, a graduate of Trenton Central High School. I'm widowed, a mother of 3, a college graduate, a homeowner, and an advocate. I work with various organizations that spans the spectrum. I chair the Trenton Historic Development Collaborative. I'm an at-large member of the NAACP Trenton branch. I'm Chief Steward for Local 2285, a graduate of Trenton's Police Citizens Academy, and a member of the People's Organization for Progress. I have always been a person that roots for the underdog, a person that wholeheartedly believes in fairness, character, and I believe that integrity matters with all of me. I believe education is power, and I believe it's better when we all win, and that is the core of who Atalaya is.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And a couple of things that stood out to me on this and also in our previous conversations was that you are unabashedly proud of who you are and where you currently are and as a Trentonian. Can you just talk about the importance of that, being a Trentonian and taking that step to now want to lead the community from which you were from?
Sure. So, you know, although I grew up with my family intact, so I can't say that I was a statistic where I didn't have my father around or anything like that. I grew up in a home with my grandmother. My father is a retired Marine. So I had both my parents. They owned their home, but we grew up right in the heart of quote unquote the hood. And so growing up in the hood, it came with its sets of circumstances, right? So I grew up during a time where drugs was running rampant. But I also grew up when the city of Trenton had families in all the homes. I didn't grow up looking at abandoned buildings or anything like that. We just had some circumstances in our community that could have prevented me. I could have went another route, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm very proud to say that I beat the odds because most people didn't coming up in Trenton. You know, most people succumbed to the drugs. Most people did not fare well in life. And so I'm proud to say that I'm a graduate of Trenton Central High School. I'm proud to say that I woke up every day and I saw what crack did to my community, yet I was able to push through and not become a person who was addicted to drugs, because there's a lot of people who did become addicted to drugs, and some people are my age. I'm 43 years old. And so it's the street of hard knocks. You know, I don't talk about this often, but I was a teenage mom. But because of the support, I was still able to go ahead, finish high school, eventually go to college, become a homeowner, raise my 3 kids here in the city of Trenton. I was married here in the city of Trenton. So I am very, very proud, because despite what people say about Trenton, you have people like myself who are products of Trenton. I'm Trenton's daughter. And so, yeah, that's why I'm proud to talk the way I do about Trenton.
Gotcha. I appreciate how clear you are about, I'm Trenton's daughter, you know, because I think that says something to those of us who are from this region. I'm going to go off into the weeds a little bit, because I kind of feel as though that we can do this and you're going to be comfortable with answering questions, but I'm not going to, you know, make it anything tricky. So for those of you who are expecting some gotchas, you're not going to get that from my show. So your involvement in the city is not only just as a civic responsibility from, serving on different boards and being active and so forth. What has made you want to transition and now get into opening yourself up to becoming an elected official? The potential like downfalls of it, all the things that we currently see that are happening in the elected space. Can you just talk about what has made you want to say, no, I'm getting involved in this?
So why am I running for office, basically? It's a few reasons why I'm running for office. I'm running for office because as a lifelong resident here in the city of Trenton, as a homeowner, as a parent, as an advocate, I know we are better than our current circumstance, and I know and understand Trenton's potential. And I'm running for office to restore professionalism to the people's seat, to rebuild confidence within the West Ward and throughout the city. I'm running because I've heard the people's pleas and cries for respect, accountability, and transparency. And as a qualified candidate, I'm running to expand my experience as a political, social, and economic advocate to change the policies, practices, and procedures so that all of us have equity and access to our beloved city, so that the people's interests are put first. I'm running for office to give people a reason to hope again, a reason to vote again, because voter apathy is a thing here. And I'm running because I'm the people's advocate, and that's what Trenton needs. So that's why I'm running.
Good. And, Talia, I want to say I appreciate you for talking about the level of professionalism and so forth. Anyone in any segment understands that there's a certain amount of responsibility that they have with what they do, whether you're a parent, like you said, or for yourself, or if you're a business owner or something of that nature. There's a certain level of respect and acumen that is expected. And I think that over, let's just say, a duration of time in the past, there's been a lot of questions about ethics and about how policy is conducted here in the city of Trenton. You've spoken about your experience, what you're looking to do. Do you feel as though that alone is bringing a level of professionalism back to Trenton is enough to get things going in a direction of improving?
I wouldn't say it's enough, but it is key. Right now, we have a city where we're unsure of its progress. We're a lot of people have lost hope in the process, and the process is important. You have to remain engaged, both civically and politically, to make sure that we're collectively making the change that we collectively want to see. And right now, people just they don't have it. So it's important that we restore professionalism to the seat of the people, because I think that's where we're getting it wrong. A lot of officials, both past and present, from my experience, have utilized the seat to it seemed more ego, more self. And really, it really is the seat of the people, and whoever sits at that seat should be representing the interests of the people. And part of that is professionalism. You have to be able to communicate effectively with the people that you're working with, even if you disagree. So I always say there's compromise everywhere. You just have to find it, and you have to keep the fact that you're working for the people. And if you keep that in mind, getting along with people, even when you don't disagree, even when you may not like the person, won't be as hard. And I think that professionalism needs to definitely be restored because we've lost it.
Great. Thank you so much for that as well. We as a city are divided. We've got the different wards, and do we have at large. In the most recent past, I would say that there's been some confusion as to what that really means. If you're an elected official, do you stay in a certain proximity? Do you do what you do throughout the city? From your own personal perspective, if you're the West Ward Council representative, does that mean your focus is just on the West Ward? And if not, just answer that.
So for me, that means that the West Ward is my priority. But of course, we have to work together. We have the West, the South, the East, the North, and we want the city to collectively move forward. But West is my priority. It's like my home. Of course, I care about my neighbor, but my home is my priority. And so that's how I look at it.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that as well. Now, there's oftentimes confusion about what the responsibilities of the mayor and council are. And loosely, it's contracts and budgetary responsibility. Can you just talk about the general responsibilities of the council and how you look to use your ability, your skill set to improve council?
Sure. So the city council is the legislative body for our local government. And so it's really no difference from the state level or the federal level, how we view Congress or how we view assembly people at the state level. It's the legislative branch for our local government, for the city. And so we're governed under the Faulkner Act, and we operate under the strong mayor council type of form. And so that just basically means that the legislative body is the checks and balances. They have investigative powers. Like you said, they work within the budget. And so the mayor appoints the people, the mayor presents the budget, the mayor, he oversees the departments. So my experience from being an advocate, working to change policies, practices, and procedures is right in line with what City Council does, because ordinance, so I say policies a lot, because that's what we say when, on a state and a national level, but a ordinance is a policy. And as we see, the city can be held hostage when we can't pass these ordinances or resolutions to get, let's say, the businesses to come in. So I would utilize my experience as an advocate fighting for things to change to make sure that we get that stuff done on City Council. So I had that experience of working across the aisle. I had that experience of knowing and understanding what policies look like, what they are, how they should read, how they should be written sometimes. And so that's the gist of it. The City Council is the legislative body. My experience as an advocate, I advocate for policies, which would be the ordinances here in the city of Trenton, to change for the betterment of the people.
Great. We are a very, very diverse community. And we're very densely populated as well. Reaching across the cultural lines is something that I think isn't really often spoke about. Is there anything that you'd like to share about your candidacy, about working for all Trentonians?
Absolutely. So right now I call it a listening tour, but really all I'm doing is I'm going and I'm introducing myself to people who may not know me, and I'm listening to what it is that they want to see in their city, and I think it's important to do that because I need to understand. So I need to understand what my Latino population wants. I need to understand what my Caucasian, if that's correct, I need to understand what that population wants. And I've had these conversations. And so I have a great understanding of what it is that they're looking for as individual groups. And I have an understanding of what it is we're all looking for as a collective. But I think it is important to understand how people think and how they operate culturally so that you can better advocate. And see, I'm always going back to the advocate part, because in order to make change, I have to understand what it is I'm changing. And so it's important that I understand someone's culture and understand why they say the things that they say and do the things that they do. In fact, I want to quickly say that I had a conversation with a very popular Trenton Orbit member, but I'm not going to name him. But we had a great conversation. And I said, it really just comes down to, race is always going to be a factor, I think, just because of our historical foundation here. But when in Trenton, I think that people are just speaking from a cultural aspect. And so what I was saying to him is, and I'll just use African American people as an example, we tend to speak, when we speak a little bit aggressive, but there's no harm really we're not trying to mean anybody any harm. And to the reverse of that, when another demographic speaks, it tends to come off as racist, and that may not be the case. It just may be that they're speaking from a lens that doesn't speak to our culture. And if we don't come together collectively to understand how we all speak and interact, we will forever be at odds with each other, but it doesn't have to be. So that's my long, short answer to your question.
Well, I will tell you this, because we're going to be finishing up shortly, but I will tell you this, that I fully believe that this comes down to communication. We as human beings do not communicate well. We oftentimes don't communicate well in our houses. I mean, I know my wife would tell me that, and she's with me all the time. So with that being said, I think it's important for us. It behooves us to work on our communication skills, and to communicate, you need to be a listener. What is that old adage? God gave us 2 ears and 2 eyes and 1 mouth. So if we look and listen a little bit more, or twice as much as we speak, we may be in a different place. We're about to finish up on this time. And as I mentioned earlier, you're always welcome to come back and talk to our audiences and share what you're thinking about the position that you're seeking, what you want to do. And I don't want to wish anything bad, but if you're not elected, I want you to know that this is still an opportunity and a place for you to come and share what you're doing, because Trenton 365 and all the work that I do is about building a better community, and civics and civic engagement is critical to that. And thank you for sharing. And I want you to come back on a regular basis and talk about that. And if you have different initiatives and ideas and things that you want distributed, please don't hesitate. Before we finish up, I want to give you an opportunity to take a couple of minutes and speak directly to those however you want, whether you want to take a long amount of time or short amount of time. I'll jump in if you're going too long. But I want you to speak directly to the folks who you want to know who you are and to vote for you. And also share about some of the events that you have coming up as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Atalaya Armstrong, running for the West Ward City Council seat in the city of Trenton. Take it on.
Yes. So, I have a long history of advocacy, and I want to bring that experience to a seat where I know I can make change, because I understand the importance of the right policies, correcting adverse practices and procedures that do not serve the people. I understand the need to not be status quo. And I know we hear that word a lot, but it simply means to not change. It's the same thing. And we don't progress as a people when we don't allow new voices and new concepts and new ideas and new thoughts and processes to come and take and grow. This is also something that's said often. We keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It's called insanity. And at some point, we have to evaluate what it is we're doing, how we're doing it, and does it make sense? And for me, it has not made sense. And so I want to be, as a person who at my core, I'm an advocate for people. I really believe, I say this all the time, that it is better when we all win. And it's not literally to mean that we all have to win at the same time. When I say that, I mean that we must have access and equity to the very things that come with our citizenship. So the very things that we should be receiving from our municipal government, we should all have access to. So I just want to expand my experience to be to an even broader level where I can make the change and be the influence that the people need, so that we can progress forward, because it's possible. It's possible. So with that being said, I have a fundraiser April 23rd. It's going to be at Cooper's. The tickets are $60. Please come out. We're celebrating our local sheroes. Please come out and support that event. Also, I'll be participating in an Easter egg hunt on April 17th at South River Walk Park, and that's given by the North Trenton Ladies Association. So 417 from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Also, we have a couple of initiatives coming up. We're going to be doing some trail walks, some bike walks. We're going to be doing some things down by Stacy Park on the waterfront to like highlight. We're going to be doing some things in the park, Calwater Park, which I currently walk my 5 miles. So if you want to come out and walk with me, please feel free to do so, because we just want to highlight our beauty, our West Trenton beauty here. So I will keep you abreast of that. I don't know if you post everything. I don't know. I could come back on and talk about these things when as they're happening. If you want to know more about me, because I speak every single day, please follow me on social media, Atalaya Armstrong's community advocate page. And if you want to donate, please donate, because campaigns need funds to run. Please donate. You can find my campaign on Act Blue. And I think that's all that I want to say.
Oh man, I'm giggling over here. Well, I'll tell you what, Angeline Dean, my friend, thank you so much. Blessings to you for introducing me to your friend and the campaign that you're leading for Atalaya Armstrong for the West Ward Council seat in the city of Trenton, November 2022. Atalaya, thank you so much for your time. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me in the near future about getting some time to share about what you're looking to do from your platform. Thank you so much. Blessings to you both, okay?
Thank you. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jacque. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there you have it, folks. Just another opportunity for you to get a chance to meet and to hear some of the folks who are part of the community, some amazing human beings. Like I often say, have a skill set that I don't have. And I want you to meet them, because together, that's how we build a better community for everyone. Keep in touch by following Trenton365.com. And in closing, remember, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.